This morning, Bitcoin's up a little. That probably has more to do with, I don't know, risk-on trades and yesterday's move in stocks, maybe what happens with the CPI today and Fed talk and everything else. But are you surprised that something like a Bitcoin or an Ether has held up this well, given the backdrop?
No, I think that's an important point, Joe. I think what happened with FTX is a failure of a centralized institution and the management of that institution not having proper values, proper care for customer funds. It actually has nothing to do with crypto networks and the cryptocurrencies that fuel those networks. So while I do think that having trust in the system as a whole is an important driver for investors who are looking to invest in the crypto market, at the end of the day, what happened with FTX is separate. And I think as we distance ourselves from this event, as justice is served, as Sam, goes through the process, I think that we will see that the crypto markets do recover and do return to being based on what the value of the underlying network is, not the value of the infrastructure surrounding those networks. There
has been calls for increased regulation for years now, and some people want to go soft, let the innovation breathe. Others say we need much stricter regulation. What does the collapse of FTX mean for when Washington gets involved?
Well, I think it's important to remember, first of all, that in the United States, crypto exchanges do have some level of regulation. It's mostly a patchwork of state money transmitter licenses, but there are some federal regulations around money services businesses that are in effect as well. I do think, though, that we could be better served by having a more comprehensive federal regulatory framework over the crypto markets and crypto exchanges. I also think that if we had better regulation around dollar-backed stablecoins, if you did these two pieces and enacted those into law, that would fill the majority of the gaps that have been identified on the crypto regulatory landscape. I think the good news is there are multiple bipartisan policy proposals in Congress that have been introduced this past Congress. I think when the new Congress is sworn in on January 3rd and commences their legislative activity, we're going to see additional ideas put forward. So I don't think the answer is no regulation, but I also don't think the answer is so much regulation that we drive these companies to headquarter overseas instead of here in the United States. I think we need to find the right balance, and I'm hopeful that with the split in this bipartisan Congress next year, that we'll be able to have the right kinds of conversations in order to strike that balance.
Blockchain Association, how much does blockchain play into trying to find out where all this money went and what happened? We've had people say that since a blockchain has a record of every transaction, that we'll be able to see exactly what happened down in the Bahamas or with FTX and Alameda. It's a lot of it was not based on blockchain, was it?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. I know you were talking about this with Chairman Clayton yesterday. I think that there are some transactions that are on the blockchain. Often when you're dealing with centralized entities, they will take those funds and use them internally with their own system. This is different than just operating on a peer-to-peer basis. And so I think we do have a lot of information that we can see on the blockchain. I think we can see large transfers from different entities within the FTX companies. We can see, transfers between Alameda and FTX, but there are some things that we won't be able to see. But the good news is there are specialized firms that are experts in helping trace these transactions. I know that in the bankruptcy proceeding, the new CEO of FTX will be testifying before the House today. I believe they're working with Chainalysis in order to help do some of this type of tracking. And so I do think we'll be able to see part of the picture, but perhaps not the entire picture.